do everything we possibly can to deliver accurate, brutally accurate news to you, and we will be doing that right now. In the case of Joe Biden and the cover-up that wasn't asked about. What's going on with this exactly? Why did I say so a single reporter didn't ask the question about how it is impossible for Joe Biden to just have surprise Gleason score 9 prostate cancer metastasizing to his bone? Not a single reporter asked that question. So this is what we're going to get, huh? It's going to be us again, huh? It's going to be us moving the ball forward. That's fine. We're built for it. We're built for it. We're built to fight, aren't we, Klein? We are built to fight. We are built to brutally move forward the ball on the questions that are of most importance to the American public. Like, is this the single greatest cover-up in the history of the American presidency? Yes. Is the most dangerous and damaging one? Yes. We are staring down the barrel of a cynical, evil, illegal, dark, very, very demonic cover-up of what happened with Joe Biden and his cancer. It's terrible, and we're going to take it head on. And we're going to repeat the teaser here that you must be able to separate the diagnostics of Joe Biden's cancer from the human question, which is we're not going to celebrate anyone getting cancer. And of course, you won't find that here. We're not trying to be glib. We're trying to ensure this doesn't happen again because a massive fraud and lie was pulled on the American people. We were there from the outset. We were right from the outset. Holy smokes. Were we right? It was a year ago, in fact, that we popped up on social media and said, listen, Joe Biden is clearly not well. Joe Biden is sick. Here we go. Got it right here. This is our tweet, just to let you know that you're in the right spot here. If you want to have this conversation, you're in the right spot. We haven't shied away from this. We haven't been fearful about this. They lied to us that Joe Biden has COVID. Look at this year-old tweet. 10-month-old tweet. Joe Biden can barely walk. This is not COVID. Something horrible has happened. He's sick. This has been a massive cover-up, and here we are going viral. 7.5 million views last year. Who had the guts to say it? Not even the Fox News reporter had the balls to look the press secretary in the eye and be like, you know, it's impossible for Joe Biden to develop advanced prostate cancer metastasizing to his bones in 100 days. Because when this video was put up on social media, when we saw this video, this is the receipt. One of many receipts. I mean, we can go back years, quite frankly. Don't give ALX a challenge. He'll find it all. When this was put up on social media, everyone was just repeating the lie. Joe Biden has COVID. Feel bad for Joe Biden. Listen, the beautiful thing about what we do is that it's very easy to see who's been telling the truth the entire time, who has guts, who has the testicular fortitude to tell you the truth and be honest about the world around you, because you're an adult and you can take it. Joe Biden was riddled with cancer at this time. They were hiding his treatment, and maybe in the darkest possible recesses of the DNC, they were planning and plotting his death. You have to assume, given what we know about Joe Biden, that perhaps they didn't do the treatment for the cancer, assuming they'd be able to haul him across the finish line in 2024 and then install Kamala Harris when nature succumbed, it's just a polite way we're going to say this. How evil. Did they rob Joe Biden of actual early cancer treatment for this? Benny, you sound crazy. I'm not crazy. I have physicians in my neighborhood. I called them up and I talked with them. They treat cancer. My wife's treated cancer. As soon as I heard this, I went running downstairs. We'd been in the Gulf of America with our children. We live about 40 minutes from there. And I went running downstairs and I showed the announcement to my wife, and she says, it's over. It's over. You don't come back from that. Again, we're not a sadistic family. We take absolutely no pleasure in that. And I'm not trying to cast doom or ill will. we're just going to spit facts here. Again, you're adults, you can take it. So I just want to let you know, we have the receipts and we have thousands of them probably. We were right. Everyone else was lying to you. Everyone else was lying. All right. Let's jump into it and let's break it all down as to what's happening with Joe Biden and what the cuck. Like, why were these? No one at the White House was able to ask about this. Nobody had the guts to be like, yo, Joe Biden's diagnosis is impossible. How do you square that? They're just like, what about Trump? What about Trump? Here's the official statement from Joe Biden. All right, let's dive into it. This is the official statement from Joe Biden. Last week, President Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. Oh, by the way, just to let you know how much we love you. We read the Wire story. They trickled a Wire story out about this. And there is no doubt in my mind, these cynical demons, they're doing this because there's a big story, there's a big book that's about to come out about Joe Biden and his mental incapacity, written by Jake Tapper. So it has sort of that like CNN, Jake Tapper and a guy from Axios named Alex Thompson. It has kind of that corporate media veneer of acceptability, right? We've been saying this for years, but nobody pays attention, right? Even though we have a bunch bigger audiences than Jake Tapper or Axios combined, but whatever, who cares? We're running this joint. We're taking over anyway, so we really don't care. But as far as like the crumbling, sickening, diseased elites, as far as those circles, having a book by Jake Tapper and by Axios' Alex Thompson come out, having that book come out is devastating. And it comes out in 24 hours. Wow. And all of the conversation has been about the Her tapes, which were released on Friday, that book, people saying that Joe Biden belonged in a wheelchair. Maybe he was going to have to be in a wheelchair. Why would he have to be in a wheelchair exactly? Why is he always falling over? Why is he having problems with his intestines? Why is he letting out loud farts? Again, this is what's been reported, okay? It's not my words. It's the words of The Guardian. Vis-a-vis the royal family, joking about how Joe Biden couldn't control his bowels when he was in Windsor Castle. These are real stories back from 2021. Well, now we know why. Why was Joe Biden running off set on MSNBC Live? We'll play you that clip. We know why. Joe Biden was riddled with cancer. And now, doesn't the protectionism, Joe Biden disappearing, going to bed, being incapable of like speaking or being awake, doesn't all of it make sense? The limpness and the weakness of Joe Biden. We don't wish cancer on anyone. I've seen my own father with chemotherapy, the effects of chemotherapy. You're weak. You're brought low. You have no energy. You can barely get up. It's awful. It's what Joe Biden was experiencing clearly. It all kind of locks in and makes sense. So here we go. He's experiencing increased urinary symptoms. Well, this is a problem. Okay, I'm going to go through this step by step based on a doctor that I spoke with as soon as this was out. I spoke with my nurse wife. I spoke with a physician in my neighborhood. I'm going to break this down for you in a way that's clearer than anybody can. And then we're going to have Dr. Drew on the show along with other physicians. They're going to join us on the show in just a second to talk through this, okay, from a doctor's perspective. Let's break down how this is impossible. What Joe Biden is doing, what they're doing is cynically trying to manipulate the news cycle, using Joe Biden's likely terminal illness to do so. These sick, monstrous demons. I'm sick of that. I can't take it anymore. The evil, I can't stand it. We are people of the light. You can't even fathom the face of evil like this. This is what they're doing, man. Okay? It's so awful. It's so prima facie. Sadistic and cynical. Okay, here we go. Here's what the doctor told me, all right? These are directly from the physicians, and then I'm going to back it up with a bunch of other reporting. Here we go. Increased urinary symptoms. Listen, prostate cancer can live inside of your body for like decades. In fact, it's like 80% of men over the age of 80 have some prostate cancer cells in their body. Doesn't mean they're exactly going to die from that, but it's one of those, it's the slowest growing cancer. It's the most common cancer among men, and it's the slowest growing. If you're having urinary symptoms, if you having trouble controlling your bowels, that means that the cancer is so advanced that it's like it's going to kill you. It's very, very bad. So if he's experiencing symptoms, that's terrible, okay? On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade 5 group. Klein, can you please pull up a video from us about 9 days ago, or maybe ALX, one of the producers can find it, where we told you what was about to happen? Because we read that Joe Biden, that doctors had found a nodule in Joe Biden's intestines. And producers will be able to find it. I just want a screenshot. Of the video. I just want to prove it. I want to prove that we not only were we right about this years ago, we were right about this a week ago. We told you what was about to happen to Joe Biden. Why? Because we're from DC, and sadly, it's a curse, not a blessing, but I understand these people. I know these sick PR people. I know these PR agencies. I know how they operate. I know a predictive program when I see one. They were predictive programming Joe Biden's health. They were predictive programming a big announcement about Joe Biden. And we called it out. Here's the video from 5 days ago. Okay. 5 days ago, nearly 300,000 views, us breaking down this little blip on the wire services, little blip that doctors had found a nodule, and now they're looking for more inside of Joe Biden. Now they're doing further testing. Well, why would they were so secretive about Joe Biden's health, why would they drop that nugget into the ether if they weren't planning on a major announcement? So, suddenly they're just the scions of transparency? No. The Dalmatian don't change its spots, as they say. Tigers don't change their stripes. No. This is a cynical PR play because they knew that there was going to be a bombshell series of catastrophic news stories about illegitimate pardons, about an illegitimate presidency, potentially leading to arrests. The first person who should be arrested is Joe Biden's doctor. I'll straight up say it. His name's Kevin O'Connor. Don't worry, we'll get to work on that little man in just a moment. Believe that. But here we go. Okay. So just to let you know, you're in the right place. If you want actual truth, you're in the right spot. If you want the news delivered to you honestly and brutally, and without the fakeries or the cotton candy, then this is the place for you, okay? We were right. Here we go. I called the doctor, and here's what he said last night. He explained the Gleason score of 9, and he sent me this chart. Here's a chart. Gleason score. This is how you measure cancers and how advanced they are, how aggressive they are, how dangerous they are. Let's see. Gleason score, it starts at a 6. You got 3, 4, and 7, 4, 3. It's a little confusing. I don't pretend to be the expert on this. But I do know that this 9 to 10 group is explained as like a death sentence. That's what the doctor told me. Highly aggressive, rapidly growing, high risk. A lot of cancers start off up here, they move to here. Anybody who's seen a relative succumb to cancer understands this. So you don't just it is medically impossible for them to have not known that Joe Biden had cancer. Let me explain. Metastasis to the bone. Metastasis to the bone means the cancer is so out of control that it's attacked Joe Biden's bone structure, which is where the white blood cells, all your blood is created there. Your blood is cleaned there. White blood cells are created there. When the cancer is in the bones, that's the true death sentence. This was explained to me by my wife, who's treated untold thousands of cancer patients in her career as a nurse. It doesn't matter if it's breast cancer, prostate cancer, intestinal cancer, lung cancer. If you let it get into your bones, you're done. You're cooked. I don't like to say this. I'm not wishing cancer on anyone. I never will. I just want to tell you the facts because you can take them. When it's in your bones, what it's doing is it's attacking any type of system in your body that would keep your body healthy, that can keep your body going. When it's in your bones, you've lost your defense mechanisms. That's what your bones do. That's how God designed them. So metastasis to the bone is a very, very bad thing. It's actually the number one thing you don't want to happen. So here are all these horrible things, horrible dominoes lining up against Joe Biden. Well, this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, so they're admitting that. Cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, allow effective management. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to comment on that. The doctor said that seems insane, okay, given all of the other evidence, but whatever. He's the doctor who treats cancer, not the PR company that's writing this. This is the last one that really bothers me. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with physicians. They're reviewing treatment options with physicians, but they've already made the decision. A lot of time, and this was explained to me by the doctor, a lot of time the prostate cancer is so slow moving and so slow growing, and the treatment options are so horrific and they don't lead to great results. There's something like a 32% survival rate for these cancers. Can you please find that metric, please? Something like a 33% 5-year survival rate. Robbie Starbuck had a tweet on this yesterday. This is not good, okay? So a lot of times people later in life, they find this out and they just say, you know what? I'm just going to live my life. Just going to live my life until it just takes its toll. And this is just the way it works for human beings. It's just how it works. Here we go. Joe Biden has a very aggressive form of prostate cancer, metastasis to the bone. Men with prostate cancer, bone metastasis, have a 5-year survival rate of 33%. Not good. And Joe Biden already is in a very weakened physical state. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what... Sorry about that. I clicked our layout button. My bad. I put this up last night, went thermonuclear viral, got millions of views, 14,000 reposts, 49,000 likes, just explaining the most dangerous cover-up in the presidency. On your screen right here is a letter dated 8 July 2024. 8 July? Wow. That's a day before we posted that, well, a couple days before we posted this. Before we posted this video. This is Joe Biden's little rat doctor. Little rat doctor named Kevin O'Connor. Kevin O'Connor. Here's what he looks like. I know it doesn't even look real, does it? But this is Kevin O'Connor right here. He's a Biden associate. He's in the Biden business. Do you know this? Biden's doctor is also somebody that has business entanglements with the Biden crime family. Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, released a fascinating little letter here that explains that Joe Biden, it took Karine Jean-Pierre, that, Joe Biden's doing great, okay? He's doing great. This has to do about neurology consultancy. And how Joe Biden's just doing awesome. And he's sharp as a tack. Never been better, in fact. Never been better. Man, that's so annoying having this little pop-up here. I don't know why. But anyway, you can just see it here. It's signed there. And he talks about how wonderful Joe Biden's doing, how he's sharp as a tack. And this comes on the heels of a full physical assessment that was done in February of 2024, saying Joe Biden is fit as a fiddle. So here's where it gets really messy for the Bidens. With the physician, Kevin O'Connor, swearing to the American people that Joe Biden is doing great. Is this criminal malpractice? It's one of two options. It's either because Joe Biden had cancer when he was getting his assessments done. Joe Biden had cancer. Horrible cancer. Mets to the bone. It's the most advanced cancer you can have before you succumb to the cancer. It's terrible. He's riddled with cancer. And his doctor saying he's great. Doing awesome. So you have two options. It's either like malpractice on the president of the United States, or it's hiding Joe Biden's true diagnosis from the American people, which we damn well have a right to, in order to make our constitutionally protected decisions as to who should lead us. And we don't want somebody who's diseased, cretinous, child sniffing, out of his mind, cannot walk, like it does not have long to live, guy running our country. Those aren't choices that healthy nations make, and nobody would have made that choice if we had known. And many people could just see with the naked eye where Joe Biden was, the debate with Trump, falling across the stages and so on. Okay. They lied is the point. They lied, or there's criminal malpractice going on. Let me explain why. Prostate cancer isn't something that hides. It's not something that's hard to find. Prostate cancer is easy to find with simple examination of the prostate or just a blood test. You just get labs. Everyone gets their blood drawn. You get a lab. That lab returns a prostate cancer diagnostic. It's like almost 100% accuracy. You just get a little bit of blood drawn. Boom. You can find out if you have prostate cancer. No problem. Don't even need to do anything invasive. So you're telling me the doctors weren't doing that? You know, George Bush had a regular prostate cancer diagnostic done every year of his presidency. So did Barack Obama. So has Trump. And yet, Joe Biden's is missing. Really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now we learn Biden has advanced prostate cancer. Advanced prostate cancer takes 10 years to develop to the stage where Biden's diagnosis is. The prostate cancer is also easy to find. Simple blood test or prostate exam give you 100% accurate results. You're telling me that the best doctors and testing on earth did not find Biden's cancer all these years of testing? Bullshit! It's the worst cover-up in the history of American presidency. Absolute scandal. Evil. They hid it for power. And I'm not the only one saying this. Oh, Benny, you're just going on a little too hot, right? Well, listen. When I am telling you the same thing that Morning Joe on MSNBC is telling you, and other respected doctors who will be joining our show very soon, Dr. Stephen Quay will be on our program here in just a moment to explain this. Let's read what the doctor has to say. Prostate cancer is the easiest cancer to diagnose when it first starts, and to watch it progress to the bone and metastasize. The PSA blood test shows a rate of cancer cell growth. For even the most aggressive form, it's 5 to 7 year journey. 5 to 7 years? So you're saying like back when Joe Biden was vice president? Meaning it would be malpractice for this patient to show up, first diagnosed with metastatic disease in 2025. It's highly likely he was carrying this diagnosis for prostate cancer throughout his entire White House tenure, that the American people were uninformed. This is a massive criminal scandal. Okay, so before we get to MSNBC agreeing with me, when Morning Joe and our program have the exact same take on something, it's bedrock, okay? It's not possible, but it is today. AI, we asked Grok, hey, can Grok is the AI that's run off of X, and it's very, very good. Is it possible to have a healthy medical diagnosis in July, but then have advanced prostate cancer mets spreading to your bones in May? It's unlikely for prostate cancer to progress from healthy diagnostics to advanced bone metastasis in May 2025. The disease typically takes years to reach that stage, even in aggressive cases. Medical literature suggests 15 years for metastasis. 15 years? Joe Biden had cancer in the Obama era, with rare high Gleason cancers possibly spreading in 1 to 3 years if undetected. But that's where you get to the real nugget here. The doctor that I spoke with said, I had this dude who lived in a trailer park. And he lived in a trailer park his whole life. He started complaining about aches and pains. And he's just one of those, F the government kind of guys, right? Love those guys. Good old Gadsden flag on the back of his pickup truck. Don't touch me, Doc, right? Until you just can't take it anymore and you go in to be seen. And he had Mets to the bone. He had very slow growing, slow moving cancer, was having a hard time digesting. He had Mets to the bone. This is a dude who lived out in the boondocks in the most rural county in Florida. And he came into the cancer center here from his, from the trailer that he lived in happily. And then he got the diagnosis. They decided no treatment. I'm just going to go off and live out my days. Okay? That's what they decided. That's what a lot of people decide with this. But this is the doctor explaining like the circumstances to not find this. You have to be a recluse hiding up in the hills. You have to have like zero interaction with the medical profession at all. Joe Biden had constant medical surveillance. And they didn't find this? Bull. It's not true. It's not true. Dr. Zeke Emanuel. Well. I think this is the brother of Rahm Emanuel, right? I'm pretty sure this is the brother of Rahm Emanuel, one of the top aides for Barack Obama. Boy, this is getting dark. He just said on MSNBC, my monologue. Isn't that interesting? When we're getting agreed with by MSNBC, things are cooking here. He said, there's no way that Joe Biden just got cancer. He had it, and this is insane bombshell. He had it his entire presidency. Well, if this is the brother of Rahm Emanuel, can I confirm that, by the way, is that true? If this is the brother, so this is the brother of Rahm Emanuel, who's the former mayor of Chicago, ambassador to Japan for Joe Biden, and a guy who's, dipping his toes. He's like the architect of Barack Obama's seizure of the White House. Ari Emanuel is also his brother. He's a Hollywood producer. He's like a Hollywood. Yeah, he's like a big time Hollywood producer. Okay. So this guy knows his way around these halls. Let's just say, he's also a doctor. And he said that Joe Biden definitely had cancer his entire presidency. Dude. This guy is telling you what he knows. He's taking the doctor hat off and he's just explaining what his family already knew. I love this clip because it's an insight into what the Democrats have been keeping from you. The elite Democrats have been keeping from you the entire time. They made the decision to install Joe Biden illegitimately as president, knowing he was sick and diseased terminally, and then hoping that they could ride that horse through to a re-election and then install Kamala Harris as the first woman president. That was the plan. These evil demons. Listen to this.
You're an oncologist, obviously incredibly respected. You believe that it is likely, just for those just tuning in, you believe it is likely if this prostate cancer has spread to the bone that he could have had it for up to a decade, but certainly it's likely. Would it be fair to say it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
Oh, if only MSNBC had some type of visual evidence of Joe Biden having intestinal problems live on air. Oh, wait, this clip exists.
And the ones that didn't vote for your bills but run on them.
That's right.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
Of a fawning Nicole Wallace. We don't need to hear what she says. A fawning, ass-kissing, boot-licking Nicole Wallace mid-interview, you can hear her start a question. Mid-question, mid-interview, Joe Biden just gets up and wanders off stage. We speculated at the time maybe he pooped his pants. We're not trying to make fun of him. That's what we said at the time when we covered this. This is from 2022. Now we understand. Joe Biden was suffering from a horrible, probably very painful form of cancer, and he had problems with his urinary control. That's what his own statement said. I'm not trying to be glib. We're just explaining to you that this is what was happening here. Joe Biden's mid-interview, and he just look at the way he gets up out of that chair. He's in pain. He's suffering right here. Why would you ever do this to this man? I'm the best friend Joe Biden's got in the world. I'm the person who for years have been screaming out from the wilderness, along with some other people that have been right about this. Tucker Carlson's one. Laura Loomer's been one. Laura Loomer took a ton of heat saying that Joe Biden was terminally ill about a year ago. Boy, it's just easy in this industry. It's so exciting in this industry because we have digital footprints. And you can go back and timestamp it and see who's been lying to you and who was right. Jake Tapper, with his stupid new book out, he was lying to you. Jake Tapper squeeing 4 years ago. Squealing when Laura Trump brought up that Joe Biden was in cognitive decline. Shrieking Jake Tapper. What a fraud. What an absolute fraud. Anyway, here's MSNBC. Morning Joe. Why don't you just play this clip? Boy, if only there were signs. Here's Joe Biden having a gastrointestinal panic attack live on your air. Maybe this is the adjoining studio. Morning Joe, I'm sure, films next door. Maybe they film in the same set. Did you ever see this clip, Joe? Did this bother you? Is this normal for the sitting resident of the White House to just wander off set live during a mid-interview, mid-question? No. Something horrible was happening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, though, are we cooking. We got more to get to. It's really bad. It gets even worse. It always does. Ladies and gentlemen, our Morning Joe is not Morning Joe. We don't watch that show. Our Morning Joe comes here in the Benny Show mug, and inside of this mug is our Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee powers our program, keeps us energized, keeps us locked and loaded and ready to cover a wild news cycle. I just had a feeling, I had a tingling feeling, right, yesterday that there was going to be some breaking news, and here it was. Here it was. Blackout Coffee is the American dream. They started as a mom and pop shop, packing up their own coffee, and now their owners, who I know personally, they are patriots. They love this place. They have a 64,000-foot warehouse, awesome staff. They are located here in America, here in the state of Florida, and their product is excellent. I drink it every single morning, and I drink it black. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's great coffee when you can just have it fresh out of the pot, okay? Please consider switching today. Don't give your money to these corporate goons who hate you. Don't give your money to libs who want to scold you and shriek at you when you come in to give them your money. Give it to Blackout Coffee. Give them a try today. Blackout Coffee powers our show, and if you want them to power you in the morning, go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 20% off your first order. Support the American Dream. Drink Blackout. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Stop settling. Start drinking real coffee. Blackout. All right. So that's I'm not sure what's in the Morning Joe mugs here, but I'm telling you, man, I'm like, this whole thing has got me upset. This whole thing's got me upset. Why don't they call this little man in? It's time. It's time for Congress to get up off their asses and do something. We need to know how deep this rabbit hole goes. This is Joe Biden's White House physician, Kevin O'Connor. Subpoena him. If you ever did a cancer screening, just ask, did you screen him for cancer? When he pleads the fifth, that's all you need to know. That's it. This also went viral. Dr. Stephen Quay will be joining our program in just minutes, and he'll be explaining this. But now, the entire ecosystem of medical professionals is collapsing down on Joe Biden and on this now fraudulent cover-up. It's not good. Urologist Dr. Schusterman says it's unheard of for somebody with Biden's level of care to not know he had prostate cancer 5 to 10 years ago. This was a full cover-up. It's unlikely that somebody could get an annual checkups and not notice. He's a former president. He had intensive state-of-the-art care. It's unusual to hear that somebody has prostate cancer when they're annually being followed up with. A Gleason score of 9 is unheard of. So here, ladies and gentlemen, from News Nation is the urologist explaining this is impossible. Add another log to the fire. Let's go.
It's very unlikely that someone could get annual checkups and not notice a PSA elevation over the past, but this is what I typically would see in a VA hospital where a patient hasn't had medical attention in 10 years, presents to an emergency room with bone pain, and then they find that it's metastatic prostate cancer. But in the modern age of medicine, especially the fact that he was a former president, he had intensive state-of-the-art, care where we can see prostate cancer, 10 years in the past. So this is, it's very unusual to hear that someone has prostate cancer where they're annually being followed up. And the fact that we just find it at a Gleason 9 is just pretty much unheard of in this day and age of medicine. Even in the, even in the inner city populations, we wouldn't see it.
So you're saying even in a medically neglected population, it would be surprising to have a surprise diagnosis with a Gleason score of 9. So you're saying that certainly as he was serving in the Oval Office, you believe that he knew that he had prostate cancer, and even potentially as he was running in 2020 before he assumed office?
Well, most likely he had prostate cancer for a long time, and the aggressive prostate cancer such as this at age 80 grows over a long period of time. I mean, usually it takes from the first diagnosis of prostate cancer to spread would take 5 to 10 years.
I thought it was about trusting. Remember, trust the science? Remember Joe Biden says his patience is running low? Saying he has no more patience for the unvaccinated, that this was a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Remember Joe Biden giving us medical advice? Remember that? When Joe Biden said he's going to steal your home and the bread from your children's mouths because you didn't take his experimental therapeutic? You remember that? Joe Biden has been telling us what's going on for a long time. If you were wise enough to follow and to pay attention, as we have been, and we have all the receipts, Joe Biden in 2022, I have cancer. Here we go.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening. You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
That's why I have cancer, says Joe Biden. Okay. Are we allowed to believe him when he says true things? What about when his own brother admits this and says, we just got to enjoy Joe Biden for the time that we have left with him? Here we go.
CBS News had a brief conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's 2 younger brothers, and here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds...
That's not something you say about, like, your brother if they're in good health. You don't say, I just hope we have... I didn't wake up this morning and look to my wife and be like, I hope we can enjoy the time we have left together. That's not something. If you want to cause problems in your household, say that. There have been problems in House Biden for a long time. We're the only people who seem to notice. That's fine. It's amazing. You can just play it. There was an And then we want to like just zoom in on this moment in time because we caught a lot of flack talking about it, and there are various people on the internet who caught tons of flack for just noticing when Joe Biden canceled in an emergency setting. Emergency. Joe Biden canceled a speech he was going to give in Las Vegas. Somebody came to the podium and said, Joe Biden's not speaking. He's out. We find out from the from the Las Vegas police that there was a horrible medical emergency, that Joe Biden had to be medevaced out, that they went back to the Air Force One airplane that was at the airport, and it flew so fast the plane rattled back to the East Coast. And now this is Joe Biden exiting that trip. They lied to you. They said that it was COVID. Does this look like COVID to you? This is Joe Biden being incapable of getting himself into the waiting SUV. Now, he doesn't ride in the Beast. He should be riding the Beast. Why isn't he riding the Beast? Oh, because he can't get into the Beast. Because he has to get down low. Look at this. Look at Joe Biden. Physically so weak, he cannot lift himself into the SUV, already a car that has been retrofitted so that he can exit and enter it. Getting in the Beast is too much. It's all evil. It's all been right in front of your faces the entire time. Just a few weeks ago, Joe Biden was at the Pope's funeral. He couldn't go down the stairs. You know, like sometimes you feel like a crazy person. Taking crazy pills? We're the only people that are noticing this? Look, Joe Biden like had to grab the arms of two people in order to get himself down the stairs. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the most evil wife in all of America, Jill Biden. Jill Biden, who dragged her husband out to The View just last week. He's riddled with cancer. They know this. And he's still being used as a propaganda vessel for Jill Biden to get cultural plaudits, to be put on nice TV shows, and to crack jokes. It's some of the most wicked and evil elder abuse that anyone has ever seen. Along with Joe Biden's doctor, it needs to be investigated. It's totally abusive. It's why I say I'm Joe Biden's best friend in the world. We've been speaking out against this for years. Watch how painful this is. When we have our great doctor guests lined up, Dr. Drew and Dr. Quay. But watch this and tell me that this does not rise to the occasion of elder abuse now that we know what Joe Biden was suffering from a dementia standpoint, from a Parkinson's standpoint, from a cancer standpoint. This is what Jill Biden did to Joe Biden just last week. Watch.
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. In the final year of your presidency, what is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that. Number one. Number two, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection when I started. Not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying. 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things that
Alyssa, one of the things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings. working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House, being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant. You never leave it. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today, if you look at things today, give me Joe Biden anytime.
You know, after that taping, Joe Biden got up and shook his wife's hand. It's really painful. We got a photo of it. I'm not sure it's loaded in this. But Joe Biden got up and shook his wife's hand as though he'd just met her. That's not love. It's the opposite of love. It's indifference and or cruelty to Joe Biden. That's why we say we're Joe Biden's best friend in the world. We've been speaking out against this. This is Joe Biden being abused by his family, being dragged around in this sickening state where he can't even answer. He didn't even answer. None of that made sense. As Donald Trump said during the debate, I don't think he even knows what he said. And then Jill Biden has to interject. Is this any way for a man to live? Have some decency. Sail off into the sunset. Get him the help that he needs. Don't keep dragging his half-baked, half-warmed over body onto TV hits so that you can praise yourself. It's totally evil. It's deeply sinister. It's the opposite of love. It's wicked, ladies and gentlemen. We have some breaking news. J.D. Vance has just responded to this crisis with Joe Biden. It happened seconds ago. We want to go there and then get to our guests and have them respond. Okay, here we go. Here's breaking news. J.D. Vance.
Oh, no, you don't. Speaking of Joe Biden, sir, do you have any thoughts on his diagnosis?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Like, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job. And that's no, that you can separate the desire for him to have the right health outcome with the recognition that whether it was doctors or whether there were staffers around the former president, I don't think he was able to do a good job for the American people. And that's not politics. That's not because I disagreed with him on policy. That's because I don't think that he was in good enough health. In some ways, I blame him less than I blame the people around him. And why didn't the American people have a better sense of his health picture? Why didn't the American people have more accurate information about what he was actually dealing with? This is serious stuff. And this is the guy who carries around the nuclear football for the world's largest nuclear arsenal. This is not child's play, and we can pray for good health, but also recognize that if you're not in good enough health to do the job, you shouldn't be doing the job. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Good. This is absolutely the response that officials should have. I'm tired of playing nice on this. This was the lives of thousands of J6ers locked in prison. Many of them had cancer. This is the Afghanistan withdrawal, where 13 American service members were slaughtered in cold blood for nothing. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't mean for nothing. But it could have been prevented. And their families know that. And Joe Biden disrespecting their families. Ushering in 25 million criminal aliens into this country. Child trafficking. Horrors untold. How many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, died because of Joe Biden in wars that popped up that should never have happened? We were on the brink, teetering. So we're not going to play nice. It looks like the Trump administration isn't playing nice. Here's Ed Martin, who was on our show last week, made a ton of news, saying, fellow Americans, the integrity of the American pardon system requires that we examine the Biden pardons and who did what. We will get to the bottom of it. Count on us. All the best, Ed Martin, pardon attorney. The U.S. pardon attorney can oversee the legality of the pardons. Only the president can issue a pardon, not his staff, not members of his internal nucleus team. The Biden has to issue the president has to issue the pardon and sign it himself. Joe Biden's pardons are illegitimate. That's the groundwork that's being laid right now.